Hi, my name's Adam Howard from Howard Audio, and last year I was commissioned to compose a mnemonic audio device for my good clients Boomtime Advertising and Wimpy. A mnemonic is a device that helps you remember something, from the Greek word mnemonikos, which means to remember. So, for example, the Nike swoosh, that's a visual mnemonic or a visual logo. And the same can apply to audio. A mnemonic is an audio logo. And I'll give you a few examples right now of some brands' famous mnemonic logos. Well, luckily I've just got a keyboard here, so I can actually give you some real-time examples of famous audio logos or mnemonics. For example, if I play "I'm loving it," it's clearly McDonald's. So even before you even see the golden arches of McDonald's, you can hear the brand. It's a very happy sounding mnemonic. And then we have Coca-Cola. That's for Coca-Cola, but I can actually tell you a little secret. That's taken from 10 green bottles hanging on the wall. Also, who doesn't know this one? That's Intel's most valued asset. It's 4-note mnemonic logo, which has been operational now for 40 years. As soon as you hear that, you know there's an Intel inside. Let's try one more. BMW. So the power of audio logos is everywhere in brand and marketing. Wimpy has always been a South African emotional brand where people very connect with Wimpy. For example, who can go on a road trip without having a Wimpy burger on the way? It's become a tradition of Christmas getaways. And Wimpy's always been very inclusive. It's always been a warm brand, family, the play areas for the kids. So Wimpy, you're always welcome, was the defining brief for me. And how do I make a few notes welcoming? How do I make a few notes home? Music has got different languages. For example, we could be in a major language. That makes me smile. This is major, that's happy. For example, if I play something in a minor key, that's quite sad. Makes me feel a little bit sad. It's not. It's sad. It's not happy. We can make something sound scary by using a diminished scale. Sounds a bit scary, like a ghost is coming. Or we can make something sound dreamy by using a whole tone scale, which Debussy used a lot. For example, I feel like I'm floating right now. So these are the basic languages of music. So moving on to Wimpy's mnemonic and how I arrived at a few notes. First of all, I just thought, well, how can I just make the words Wimpy, 2 notes, Wimpy, or 2 chords, evoke a sense of coming home? Now, in music, if we're in this key, C major, if we play this chord, that's chord 4, we're back home. Literally, we call it back home to C. So I thought, let me play around with that a little bit. So, Amen, Amen. That's called a plagal cadence. It's a 4/1 cadence going back home. So I thought, let's start very simply. So my first idea was using those 2 chords. And then I thought, well, we could add some guitars to that to maybe just add a little bit of orchestration. Very South African sounding guitar as well. We've got the best session musicians in town on this, and I really wanted just to bring us home. Then I thought, well, what happens if we add a female singing Wimpy? Wimpy. But I thought, you know what? It sounds even better if we've got a male and a female, like a choir, South African choir, bringing it home. So that was my first idea, but I don't just present one idea to the client, so that's it. I present 7 ideas, knowing that 6 will be rejected. So as a composer, you need to have different sounds on your palette to present. So we've got the first idea. But then I thought, how can I expand on that idea, but keeping in the same sort of realm of being home and warm and fuzzy and everyone's welcome? trying to extend it into the payoff line, you're always welcome. Wimpy, you're always welcome. And how would that sound? Wimpy. This is 5-1. So we could go, Wimpy, you're always welcome. Wimpy, you're always welcome. Back home. How did that sound?
Wimpy, you're always welcome.
Knowing that this could also be used without vocals. So I was very happy with those first two ideas, but then I try and flip it up a little bit now. So if I'm analysing those first two, it's very warm, it's very sincere, but I wanted to give it a bit more of a lighter lift, a bit more joyous, a bit more of a bounce. So instead of going, Wimpy, you're always, which is quite warm, I thought if we go, Wimpy, you're always welcome, something a bit more bouncier.
Wimpy, you're always welcome.
A lot more welcoming in a joyous way. So the first three ideas, loving them. Then I went on to idea number 4, where again, I'm just now trying to take it into a different avenue of where we could go. For example, idea 4.
Wimpy, you're always welcome.
If I mute the choir again, you can just hear trying to really get that warmth still. Again, that makes me go, you know, Wimpy, come on, you're always welcome. I would say on nearly every mnemonic brief, at one point I will go down this road. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's called musical cryptography. And in a nutshell, what that is, it's called decoding or generating musical notes from a brand's literal name of letters. Music, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We don't have an H or an I or a J or a K. We go back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. To make musical cryptography work, we just have to cheat the system a little bit or generate a code. For example, on a piece of paper here, I've just written the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But then for H is A if we carry on the sequence. You can imagine in World War I, the Enigma computer broke the Morse code. That was a very complex algorithm. This is very simple. It's just continuation. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. O then becomes A, B, C, D, and vice versa. So what notes does Wimpy spit out? Literally. So W is a B. I is a B. Got 2 B's. All right. M's an F. Now as a musician I go, and I'll tell you why in a minute. P is a B and Y is a D. So B, F, B, D. It's this interval. That's an augmented fourth. It's the tritone, and Leonard Bernstein spoke for years about this. But anyway, this is diminished. It's scary. So I didn't throw the Wimpy baby out with the bathwater straight away. I thought, let me try and force this a little bit. See if I can come up with something. So, no, Wimpy, oh, it sounds a bit weird. But if we force it into C major, for example, I can resolve. So I'm cheating a little bit. So I can actually make it sound quite musical. Wimpy, you're always welcome. Let me show you what it sounds like in the computer.
Wimpy, you're always welcome.
So you can see that I'm using a rule now to force a musical idea onto the mnemonic. So that was idea number 5. Of course, they are all musical mnemonic ideas, which was the brief to start off with. But again, I just don't present 1 or 2 ideas. So what would the Wimpy mnemonic sound like if it was just a musical sound effect in a way? Let me play some ideas that I had with that one. You know, I mean, that would work in many circumstances, like, you know, Samsung, reinvent tomorrow, or something like that. It might be quite nice, but for Wimpy, here's another idea that I had. It's beautiful. It makes me feel very, very home in a way, you know, but I don't think it's Wimpy. This next one was trying to then marry a musical idea with a more modern idea. You know, marrying the yesterday with today. After I presented all of this, what did we end up with? And it was definitely a unanimous decision. Everybody was feeling idea 3. Let's just remind ourselves of idea 3 again.
Wimpy, you're always welcome.
And then we made it shorter as well, just using Wimpy.
Wimpy,
But also, this mnemonic can work as a 2-second because time is of the essence, of course, for TV commercials and radio commercials. So this is the 2-second mnemonic.
Wimpy,
I always say a brand's got a sound. What do you sound like? And I think we've really balanced the tradition of Wimpy going forward. And what does Wimpy mean? It means that you're always welcome. And hopefully this mnemonic encapsulates all of that.
My dad never goes out. But today, I have a plan.
Welcome. Can I take your order?
3 double cheeseburgers.
No. 2, please.
Sure.
You are welcome to join us for lunch.
With our double cheeseburger, chips, and a free Coke for only $99.90, everyone's invited.